So I'm gonna go over the trades I took today, and then I'm gonna go over some setups for tomorrow and what I'm watching. So first things first, right? Clear my chart. On the daily chart, Tesla's had this bear flag. I've been watching it since here, and my target was this low, right? This 180 level. You guys could see this 180 level. We bounce aggressively off of 180 right here, right? You see the bounces here from here. You can see the bounces from here, here, here. And once we come to it over here, we finally got a break below 180. And we formed another bear flag. This was on Friday, which I missed. I missed this on Friday. So we broke below 180, right? Broke below 180, formed a bear flag, came back, retested 180. And that's where we got the sell-off pre-market. So today, I was watching to see if we were going to come back up to 180 or if we were going to come back down to these lows. And as you guys can see on bigger time frames, we literally have so much room to fall on Tesla. The next big level is this weekly 200 at 161.86. So I'll mark that level and put 200 weekly. Right, not much support because last time Tesla came up was, when Tesla was going up, it was back in 2020, right? And we just ripped up, never came back down to these 150 levels, which would correlate with, I believe, what's 160 times 3? Like 450? Wait, what is it? What is 160 times 3? It's 480. So Tesla's approaching, as of right now, it's at 167. So what's 167 times 3? 167 times 3 is 501. So Tesla's approaching 500. When Tesla broke above 500, it went all the way to 1,000, 1,400, right? And it never came back down to retest 500. So right now is a big moment, right? When we broke above 500, we literally just ripped. So there's not a lot of support below this 180, right? Look, this is when we ripped up to 180, came back, we retested 180, retested 180, retested 180. But below 180, we have literally, let me delete these alerts. Below 180, we have room down to here, this top part, which was previous all-time high, which is where we closed today, right? We closed here at 167.5 today. That's why I had that level. That's why I had 168 on my chart. Psychological 170, right? That's just the level you need to have. Psychological 170. And below that, literally this previous resistance here, which is 154. But before that, I'm sure we'll see the weekly 200. So for Tesla now that we're selling off and we're far below 170, so we go to 4 hour, right? Let's go to 4 hour. What do we get? We get a big sell-off. So off the open, you could see we got rejected off of 176, came down and rejected again. So how I traded this was, right, so, and the reason why I had that level as a reject was because it was Friday's low, as well as, so really I was waiting for it to come around this area to this 200. As long as it didn't close above 180, I was still bearish on Tesla. So if I go to the 2-minute chart, you'll see when we bounce from here, off the open, we bounce from here, right? And you could see we formed like this little trend line here. Once it couldn't hold and this level was rejecting, I started to see that. So I hopped into puts up here, right near this pre-market area where we rejected, which was also Friday's low. And you can see how we rejected perfectly off of it. And I just wrote it down. And on the 5-minute chart, I used the 9 EMA and I used the 5 EMA to keep me in this trade. So if I go to EMA, I added a 5 EMA, and you can see how clutch this shit was. 5, and I change this to blue. Right, so as we were coming down, right, took the reject once we broke that clean trend line, started selling off. Right, we broke, and then the low of the day was my target. So low of the day was my first target, but as we were getting weaker, I was still using the 9 and the 5 as they were like riding down with each other, right? The 9 and the 5 held, the 9 and the 5 held on the downtrend. Boom, we broke low of the day. Next target was 172. Reason why was because of this. Last time Tesla came down to these levels, where do we bounce off of? We bounce off of 174 and 172, right? You can see right here, we bounced off this level here. And look at the bounce that we get, right? We get a big bounce. That's why this is the area that it bounced off the open right here, like around this 174 level, right? That's why it bounced right there, right off the open because of this level. And then 172 was my next take profit level. But since the price action started coming down with volume, I was able to hold this to 170. And even here, I didn't take profit because I wanted it at 168, right? But once I started to see the 9 and the 5 not hold, that's when I got out, which I was still up a lot from my entry here, which was about 80%. But these contracts did end up going to like 560. But if I were to switch to the 15-minute chart, check this out, right? Switch to the 15-minute chart. And honestly, I was still bearish on Tesla. I just wanted to get out. You could see perfectly, what do we get? We get a bear ABCD on the 15, straight to the 9 EMA, retest of 172, and we flush back down to the low of the day. And then we start riding the 9 EMA on the 15-minute chart all the way down, right? But if I were to grab a fib level from high of the day to low of the day here at 170 where I took profit, you can see how the 382 was in correlation with that 9 EMA, this pivot here, and so that would have been a great ABCD on the 15-minute. I was looking at it perfectly. I just didn't want to hop in more contracts, but yeah, this was pretty good trade on Tesla. That's the only thing I took today.
So your entry was because it was you said it was a key level?
Yeah, you can see right here, it was Friday's low. See how we bounced off here on Friday, bounced once, bounced twice. You can see we start to reject here pre-market. Once, if I go to 2 minutes, you'll see a little bit more clearly. We start rejecting that pre-market, and right off the open, it rejected there again, right? It rejected there again. So people who took that reject took profit at the bounce level at 174, and it came back all the way back up to the reject level where the 200 moving average was around this area. So I was gonna have a tight stop below that because if it did break above that, it probably would have gone up to 180. And
Got you.
and that was the first reject off the open. So rejected again right there. And once we broke that trend line that we were holding right here, it was clear confirmation for downside.
Got you.
Yeah, we're holding that low trend. And then first target was low of the day. You can see how low of the day was trying to hold. And that's why I say that when I posted this, I said it was an annoying trade right off the open. Because of this, I was in this trade for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, not trying to break that low of the day. So I was watching, I'm like, okay, these are like bullish pin bars right here off of the support. Is it going to bounce up and go back up to this level, form a double bottom? And it ended up holding the 9 and the 5, and we sold off. Volume kicked in, and we reached my next target, 172. I was gonna take profit at 172 because that was the last area we bounced off of too, but we just flushed straight through it. Once I seen us flush straight through this, that's when I was like, all right, cool, we're going to 170, and that was the next target. So for now, for Tesla tomorrow, I'm gonna be watching. I feel like it has more downside room below today's low, below 167. I'd like a break and retest, or if we do catch a slight relief bounce, the 4-hour 90 EMA is a little bit too high. It's a little bit too high if it bounces up in the 4-hour 90 EMA is right there. I feel like it's a little bit too high. Personally, I think this is just gonna still sell off. It looks very weak. Still looks very weak. This is the last thing holding us. Previous all-time high at 167.5, which is where we closed today. Anything below that The next level is really the weekly 200, not much support holding us up here. I would mark down 165, psychological 165, as a first take profit, and then down to like the weekly 200. I'll probably take profit a little bit earlier on 162 as the weekly 200 sometimes like moves up. Like it'll move up and you won't even see it. Like it'll probably be up here tomorrow or some shit, you know? So check out where it's at, and that's gonna be my next target for Tesla. I would prefer to take a reject instead of taking the break below. So I'll probably take a break. I'll probably take a break and retest. So if it breaks and retests this low of the day, if we start catching a bounce up to this 172 or the 15-minute chart, let me show the 15-minute chart. Because I feel a pullback all the way back up to 175 where the 4-hour 9 EMA is at is a little bit high, right? If it pulls back, let me see. I think I had John a fib. So let's say we go from recent high, swing high to here. The 236 correlates perfect with the 4-hour 9 EMA. But the thing is, it's a big bounce. So if it bounces like a whole $8, that's kind of like full reversal. So I'm not expecting it to get that high. We have also been rejecting off the 21 so this 21, 172. I think 170 is going to be a key level as well. We just have to see what pre-market looks like, but I'm going to just keep an eye on this side watch. Something that I really liked today was QQQ, right? QQQ right off the open. Why did I like QQQ? It was weak pre-market, right? We got a sell-off, started holding this 282, started bouncing pre-market, and we came right into my supply zone, which was 284 to 284.7, right? I just drew a line here at this previous rejection off that wick, and I drew another line in here. So in between this was my zone, and I was watching to see when we pulled up to that area if we were going to reject. And this rejecting also gave me confidence to hold Tesla to the downside, right, as the overall market was catching a sell-off. So while I started seeing this reject from here, everything else was getting weak. Apple was getting weak, and we sold off. And that would have been a fire ass trade too, This was a really good trade off the open. We even got a pullback to the 9, sold off again. Target pre-market low. I also seen this on the 2-minute chart. We had pulled up to the 9 and the 200. It was around this time when they were crossing. Right, it was around this time we had the 9, 200 hourly 9 EMA. And you can see how we rejected it perfectly. That was another good trade. That would have been another really good trade. But yeah, so for what I'm watching tomorrow is that Tesla side watch. UPS showed strength today, and it's approaching the gap fill. So above, I want to break and hold above this 181. I want to break and retest above this level, because above that's where the gap fills at, right? Above 181.52. We're holding pretty strong. We have room up to 184.54. UPS and FedEx are good companies right now because of the holidays. So there's a lot of packages and shit being delivered. So I know UPS and FedEx are doing good right now. Above this 181.5, we have room up to 184.5. So I look for a break and retest on this. Another stock that I'm watching is UNH. Reason why was because on Friday, this just showed a lot of strength. On Friday, it showed a lot of strength. We just ran up. We started running up. Right, boom. Came to this big demand zone, which is previous supply as well. Watch, you'll see. Look how many times we get rejected here, right? Reject, 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 right? This whole area. Come back, we bounce off of it, reject off of it, and then we came back and we bounced off of it. When we showed strength, look how we broke above it, came back, retested, and we weren't able to make a higher high. So now that we're back below it, we can come back and watch this level for a reject. We have a lot of confluence here. Why? Because we have the weekly 9 EMA, and it's forming a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. It was also very weak today. In the health sector, you can see it was the weakest one, down 2% on the day, health sector. If it forms that right shoulder, we have confluence with a previous supply. Turn demand back to supply. Back below, this would be the right shoulder. This will be a right shoulder here. If it pops up to this area, we got the weekly 9 EMA. And yeah, stop loss right above that. This is a big ticker for a healthcare stock, so the premiums might be a bit expensive. If the spreads are too wide, I probably won't take it. But yeah, I'd like to short this back down, at least to 521. The recent low would be, low of today's 516, but the overall target would be 515, 514. Start trimming on the way down though. 521 will be my first target. So my risk reward would look something like this on UNH. I like this one. I like UPS. So that would be my risk. This could be my potential reward. All right, that'll be my risk, potential reward. Probably trim here though. So it'll be something like that. But this is a $7 move. So $7 move on this ticker is pretty good. Won't get greedy, try to catch like a whole 30. Let me check the ATR on this shit. UNH ATR is $15. It moves $15 on the average on an average day. So doesn't look bad, right? That would be a right shoulder. Another one I'm watching is, of course, SPY. We'll be watching SPY. It's been pretty slow consolidating. Just in this range, right? Go to the daily. Failing to break above 400 and failing to break below 390. 390 and 400. We're stuck in a range now. Stuck in a range. Really in between the range, not too interested in it. But this 390 level still looks good for a bounce. If we get down there tomorrow, it still looks good for a bounce. I'm sure we'll bounce there before we break it, unless we start selling off aggressively. But yeah, I like that 390 level for a bounce. We rejected this level today, 395. Wasn't really watching it that much today, but I was watching Qs more than SPY today. But yeah, for SPY though, I just keep an eye on 390 to 400. One of those two levels in between. Not too interested. Yeah, fucking price action's been shit these past couple of days, in between this range. So I'm not too interested. In between. The other one I was watching is QQQ again. If QQQ, QQQ tried pushing up aftermarket. If it gets another push up to here, we have the 15-minute 200. We have the 15-minute 200 back in the area we rejected today. And Meta is another one I'm watching. So, but yeah, this supply zone back here, which was previous structure. I like this for Qs because you guys can see previous supply in here. We have the 4-hour 921 around that area. We have a fib retracement in that area. If I go from recent swing high to today's low, we have the 236 right in that area next to the 9 and 21. 921 is a little bit lower on the 4-hour, so it could reject a little bit early, but the 15-minute 200 is right around that area as well. So 284, same area I was watching today, 284 to 284.7. If we get a push up there, I'll show you guys. I had told everyone yesterday. I was told everyone this morning. QQQ 284 to 287 to 284.7 reject. And that's the reason why, just because it was previous supply, right? Previous structure. And QQQ is failing to hold back above that. It's failing to hold back above that. Really, we should have, if we were bullish, I feel like we should have came up, retested, and held that level. Just like how SPY's doing right now, but it's below it. So it's back in this bottom range. And if Q's is doing that, SPY's probably gonna follow with it. That's why I'm not too bullish. This 390 level is the recent structure. SPY's holding it. Q's is below its previous structure. So that's what happens if we break back below that, right? That's gonna happen. The other one I was watching was Meta. Meta because we had formed this like head and shoulders, right? We clearly have some demand here though. We have demand here. See how we bounced here once, bounced here twice, bounced here 3 times right here, and then bounced again today. Bounced again right there. But below that, we do have room down to 105. If I go to the hourly, we have the 200 right here. So I'll mark this level 106. Keep that at level on watch. The hourly 200. But anything below that, we really have room down to 104.8. You can see clearly how we bounced here. If we get a break and retest, I would like to short it back down to here. Really like that setup too. So in the morning, I'm gonna narrow it down from UNH, Meta, Tesla, and then of course SPY and Qs. Just gonna narrow it down to the one that looks the best pre-market because I can't catch all of them, you know. But overall, Meta is like a head and shoulders too, so it looks pretty good. You guys got like any questions or anything?
Nah, right now I'm just good, just soaking everything in.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah, so that's just basically like how I find setups. You know, I just look for weak names that are weak, relatively strong. Always look at SPY and Qs to see if they're in a range or they're trending. Clearly, they're right currently just in a range. So I'd look for weaker stocks like Tesla, stronger stocks like UPS. Meta's getting weak, so Meta's looking weak, has a head and shoulders pattern below this demand. Break and retest looks good. UNH was strong Friday and it's showing weakness today. Could potentially form that right shoulder. So that's what I'm watching on that. And I haven't really looked at chip stocks, but I know Nvidia's in this downtrend, but it's trying to hold this 150 area. It's trying to hold
Hey,
that.
hey, I got a question real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, you see how like that candlestick? I seen it on SPY this morning. It
This one,
takes like a real long wick. Yeah, like
it's like
a real.
it's market manipulation, right? If it doesn't like this one right here, you see how spike after market went up to 400, then closed right here.
Yeah.
It's like market manipulation. It's like a 1 sec, like it'll do it in 1 second, and then it's not like an actual candle. The best explanation for it is um, just like is it's like institutions, you know, the institutions buying and selling at that point. I personally don't really, I pay attention to it because every candle tells a story, but I personally don't, um, just like, I wouldn't count it as my pre-market high or low.
So you wouldn't mark your fibs off of it or no?
Nah, nope.
Okay.
In that scenario, it's a good question though. Yeah, I don't really pay attention too much to those candles. I do, you know, keep a level because it tells a story, right? You know, you got bought it to 400 and rejected. That's what this candle's telling me. And the way it closed is pretty bearish. So I would, you know, it's like I don't pay too much attention to it, but it's important to just read what the candle is telling you regardless. But yeah, that's what I'll be watching. 390 to 400 in between this range. Like I said, it's pretty much a risk off week, to be honest, with Thanksgiving. It's a short week. So, or Jesus, what is your opinion on, or what is your knowledge on those candles?
I mean, I'm pretty all right with candlesticks. I'm not gonna lie.
Uh,
Um, but right now, like there's still like a big trend line on SPY, like a huge trend line, and I don't see us being bullish unless we get some type of candlestick confirmation above that trend line. Like in the long run, not
yeah,
anytime soon.
No, I was talking about these manipulation candles right here. What is
Oh
your
yeah, it's just market makers. It's just like
yeah,
you
it's
said,
the market makers, huh?
institutions fucking just trying to. Because if you go down on lower time frames, like right there, it's like you
Yeah,
said,
this one, yeah.
yeah, it's just institutions that are just trying to really make a shit ton of money during
Yeah, that's
when
yeah,
trading hours are not in there. That's
yeah,
all it is, just market makers.
yeah, that's what it is. For sure. Nah, but yeah, about that trend line, no, yeah, I see the same thing. Failing to break above 400, so that's something definitely to keep on watch. Yeah, it's pretty much it. You gotta see what pre-market looks like. Um, Tesla looks weak. I want to catch that shit down to 160, 162. So I want to see the best way to potentially play it. I'm sure pre-market will give me a better idea. If we get some nice pre-market data and we probably start rejecting off of a key level or something, I'll keep an eye on it. This 170 could potentially be it, right? Like how we bounced off of it today, rejected off it today. Maybe we come back and retest it. We'll see though. Pre-market is gonna tell us, give us more data. So yeah, those are my main watches for tomorrow. Probably
Sure.
probably gonna be a light week today. I mean, light week. Yeah, it's gonna be a light week for me. But yeah, if you guys got any last questions,
No, we're good right now, bro. Well, I'm good at least.
for
I'm
sure.
good, bro.
Cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm good too. Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, you gonna go live tomorrow morning though?
Yeah, I'll see. I'll see. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, cool. I'll talk to you guys in the morning then.
All right.
Cool,
Thanks,
All right, man.
man.
bro.
Have
Appreciate
a
it,
good one.
Alexis.
Yeah, I
You have
got
a
you.
good night.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Peace.